I didn't wake up motivated. I woke up disgusted. Not at the world, not at my circumstances, at myself. I saw the direction I was drifting, distracted, inconsistent, soft in places that used to be sharp. And I knew something had shifted. Nothing dramatic had happened. No collapse, no public failure, just slow erosion. And that's what made it dangerous. Weakness doesn't announce itself. It blends in. It lets you function. You still show up. You still talk about goals. You still imagine a better version of yourself. But imagination without execution turns into self-betrayal. I wasn't tired because life was heavy. I was tired because I kept negotiating with things I said mattered. I would promise effort in the morning and compromise by evening. Promise discipline this week and justify comfort by Friday. That gap between what I said and what I did, that was the real weight. You don't feel weak when you fail publicly. You feel weak when you know you're capable of more and repeatedly choose less. That quiet awareness builds pressure inside you. And if you ignore it long enough, you start lowering your standards just to silence it. That's the trap. Weakness isn't crying. It isn't asking for help. It isn't struggling. Weakness is delay. It's knowing the work and choosing distraction, knowing the standard and choosing convenience, knowing the cost and pretending it's small. When I was younger, I believed time would compensate for hesitation. I thought patience and procrastination were the same thing. I thought staying comfortable meant staying stable. I was wrong. Life doesn't punish weakness immediately. It allows it. It even rewards it short term. You avoid discomfort. You protect your ego. You keep things manageable. But manageable isn't powerful. And over time, manageable becomes mediocre. You don't crash, you stall. And stalling feels harmless until years pass and the only thing that grew was your tolerance for less. I realized something that changed everything. Weakness isn't about what you can't do. It's about what you keep tolerating. Low standards, unfinished work, half-effort days, excuses that sound intelligent. Every time you tolerate them, you train your identity. You train yourself to believe that this level is acceptable. And once something feels acceptable, it becomes permanent. That's when I started noticing a pattern around me. Smart people losing to comfort. Talented people drifting into average routines. Capable men becoming passive because life didn't force them to rise. They weren't defeated. They were unchallenged. And unchallenged people become fragile. They wait for motivation instead of building structure. They wait for confidence instead of earning competence. They wait for urgency instead of creating pressure voluntarily. Then one day, urgency arrives, and they're unprepared. The cost of weakness isn't pain, it's time. Time you don't get back. Time you thought you had more of. Time you traded for temporary comfort. You think you're managing your life. You're negotiating with your potential. Every time you choose what feels good over what builds you, you're making a trade. And the price is the person you could have become. This isn't about being extreme. It's about being honest. If nothing changes in your habits, nothing changes in your future. You already know that. You don't need inspiration. You need confrontation. Weakness doesn't scream. It whispers. Tomorrow. Later. Soon. And it will keep whispering until there is no later left. That realization hit me harder than any failure ever could. Because once you see the cost clearly, weakness stops feeling comfortable. When it stops feeling comfortable, a decision becomes inevitable. Never again. How weakness takes over. Weakness doesn't kick the door down. It walks in quietly. It starts with small compromises that feel harmless. You hit snooze once. You skip effort once. You tell yourself you'll lock in tomorrow. Nothing breaks. So your brain relaxes. And that's how it begins. Weakness survives because the consequences are delayed. You can underperform for months and still look functional. You can avoid discipline and still appear stable. You can waste time and still convince yourself you're figuring things out. But internally, something shifts. You stop trusting your own word. Every promise you break to yourself chips away at self-respect. Not dramatically, gradually. You say you'll train. You don't. You say you'll focus. You scroll. You say you'll commit. You stall. And your mind keeps score. That's the part no one warns you about. Self-trust is built through kept promises. Weakness erodes it through repeated compromise. And once your mind stops believing you, motivation becomes useless. Because deep down you don't trust yourself to follow through. Weakness also reframes comfort as intelligence. It makes moderation sound mature. It makes intensity sound extreme. It convinces you that pushing harder would be unnecessary. So you settle. Not because you lack ability, because you lack urgency. You tell yourself you're still young. You tell yourself you have time. You tell yourself you'll get serious when life demands it. Life will demand it, just not on your schedule. And if you wait for pressure to force discipline, you'll be building strength during crisis instead of before it. That's when it's hardest. Weakness trains you to react instead of prepare. You wait for deadlines to focus. You wait for fear to move. You wait for embarrassment to act. And that reactive pattern becomes your default. You don't lead your life. You respond to it. Over time, that does something dangerous to your identity. You stop seeing yourself as the cause. You start seeing yourself as the result. That's when excuses multiply. You blame timing. You blame stress. You blame lack of clarity. But every excuse removes power from your hands. And powerless people feel tired. Not because life is heavy, because they live without structure. Structure feels restrictive when you're weak. But later, structure feels freeing. Because it removes negotiation. It removes internal debate. It replaces mood with requirement. Weakness thrives in negotiation. Strength thrives in non-negotiable standards. You don't have a discipline problem. You have a tolerance problem. You've tolerated being slightly under your potential for so long that it feels normal. And normal is the enemy. Here's what weakness actually steals from you. Not money. Not status, authority. When you're weak, your moods control your actions. Your environment dictates your effort. Your comfort determines your standards. You don't command your days. Your days command you. And slowly you lose authority over your own life. That loss doesn't hurt immediately. It feels manageable. You're not failing publicly. You're just underperforming privately. But private disappointment compounds. You start noticing it in small moments. When you look in the mirror longer than usual. When someone your age is ahead and you feel tension in your chest. When you realize you've been about to start for years. That tension isn't insecurity. It's awareness. You know you're capable of more. And doing less anyway. Weakness also changes how you interpret effort. You begin believing that effort should feel good. That discipline should feel inspiring. That motivation should come first. It doesn't. Motivation follows action. Confidence follows repetition. Clarity follows movement. But weakness makes you wait for those things before moving. so you stall. And stalling becomes your identity. You start saying things like, "That's just how I am," or "I work better under pressure," or "I need to feel ready." Those are not personality traits. They're practiced habits. And habits become character. Life exposes character. It doesn't negotiate with it. I've seen disciplined men in bad situations rise. I've seen talented men in good situations collapse. The difference wasn't intelligence. It was preparation. Weakness makes you soft under pressure. Strength makes you stable under pressure. And pressure is guaranteed. You don't get to opt out of that part. So the real question isn't whether life will test you. It's whether you're training before it does. Because once the test arrives, there's no time to build character. You reveal it. And if what you reveal disappoints you, that's not bad luck. That's accumulated tolerance. Weakness doesn't ruin you loudly. It lets you live just comfortably enough to stay the same. Till one day you look at yourself and realize you became average by agreement. That realization is heavy, but it's also powerful, because once you see the cost clearly, you can't unsee it. And once you can't unsee it, comfort starts feeling expensive. There's a moment most men try to outrun. It's quiet, usually late at night. No noise, no distractions. Just you and the truth. You know exactly where you're cutting corners. You know the habits that are keeping you small. You know the effort you've been avoiding. You know the conversations you postponed. You know the standard you lowered. And the worst part? You can't claim ignorance. That's what makes it heavy. Weakness survives when you blur reality. When you stay busy enough to avoid reflection. When you drown awareness in entertainment, noise, constant stimulation. But silence exposes everything. You don't hate yourself. You hate that you're capable of more. That frustration you feel isn't random. It's the tension between your potential and your current behavior. And tension demands resolution. Most people resolve it the wrong way. They lower the potential. They convince themselves they never wanted that level anyway. They say things like, "I don't need to be extreme," or "I'm just trying to live balanced." Balance is powerful, but most people use it as camouflage, because pushing to your edge requires sacrifice. It requires discomfort without applause. It requires discipline when nobody's impressed. Weakness avoids edges. It stays in the middle, safe, average, unchallenged. But average doesn't feel neutral when you know you're built for more. It feels like decay. And decay isn't dramatic. It's subtle. You start hesitating in rooms you should dominate. You second-guess decisions you should make quickly. You speak with less certainty because deep down, you know your habits don't match your ambition. Confidence without discipline is fragile. It cracks under pressure. That's why some men talk strong but fold fast. Their identity isn't reinforced by action. It's supported by imagination. And imagination collapses when reality pushes back. Let's strip this down. You don't lack knowledge. You lack enforcement. You know what discipline looks like. You know what effort feels like. You know what consistency requires. You just haven't decided that it's non-negotiable. That's the difference. Weakness negotiates. Strength enforces. Weakness asks, "Do I feel like it?" Strength asks, "Is it required?" That single shift changes everything. Because once something becomes required, mood becomes irrelevant. And when mood becomes irrelevant, momentum builds. Right now, you're still debating with yourself. That internal debate is exhausting you. Should I start? Should I wait? Should I rest? Should I push? Indecision drains more energy than discipline ever will. Discipline simplifies life. Do the work. Keep the promise. Repeat. That's it. Weakness complicates life. It creates mental arguments. It creates justifications. It creates emotional drama around simple tasks. And while you're debating, time keeps moving. You don't need more analysis. You need a line. A line you refuse to cross backward. Not dramatic. Not emotional. Cold. Clear. Once you draw that line, something shifts. You stop asking whether you're motivated. You start acting because you said you would. And every action taken when you didn't feel like it rebuilds something inside you. Authority. Authority over your impulses. Authority over your comfort. Authority over your direction. That authority is power. Without it, you're just reacting. With it, you're leading. The mirror stops being uncomfortable when your actions match your standards. Until then, it will keep reminding you. Not loudly, but enough. Kill the old standard. Here's the truth most people avoid. You don't rise to a new life. You reject the old one. Transformation isn't addition. It's elimination. The version of you that negotiates has to go. The version of you that delays has to go. The version of you that protects comfort has to go. Not emotionally, structurally. You keep thinking you'll add discipline to your current identity. That won't work. Because your current identity was built around comfort. And comfort will defend itself. Every time you try to level up, your old habits will whisper, relax. You've done enough. Start tomorrow. Don't overdo it. That voice isn't wisdom. It's preservation. Your brain is designed to conserve energy. Avoid risk, stay predictable. Growth threatens all three. So if you wait until it feels natural to push harder, you'll wait forever. Strength is unnatural at first. Waking up early when no one forces you. Training when you're tired. Studying when there's no deadline. Staying disciplined when nobody checks. It feels excessive. Till it becomes identity. Identity is everything. You don't get what you want. You get what you tolerate. You've tolerated inconsistency. You've tolerated distraction. You've tolerated a gap between what you say and what you do. So that gap became your normal. Close the gap. Your life changes. Keep it open. Nothing changes. It's that simple. You think discipline is about intensity. It's not. It's about alignment. When your behavior matches your standards, confidence rises automatically. You don't need affirmations. You need evidence. Evidence that you can trust yourself. Every time you execute, when it's inconvenient, you create that evidence. Every time you keep your word privately, your spine gets stronger. Self-respect is built in private. Destroyed in private, too. That's why nobody sees weakness growing. But you feel it. That subtle disappointment. That internal voice that questions whether you're serious. You silence that voice with repetition, not inspiration. Repetition. You don't need to become ruthless with the world. You need to become ruthless with your own excuses. Draw boundaries with yourself. If you said you'll train, you train. If you said you'll work, you work. If you said you'll focus, you eliminate distraction. No debate. The old version of you thrived on debate. The upgraded version eliminates it. That's the break. You don't feel stronger. You behave stronger. Long enough, and feeling follows. Understand this clearly. Your life 5 years from now is already forming, based on what you repeat this month. Not what you plan, not what you hope. What you repeat. Weakness is repetition. Strength is repetition. Difference is choice. Right now, you're practicing something daily. The question is it building the man you respect? Or reinforcing the one you secretly resent? Because resentment toward yourself grows quietly. And once it grows deep enough, it turns into regret. Regret is heavy, heavier than effort ever was. That's why this moment matters. Not next year, not when life forces you. Now, you either continue negotiating with weakness, or you decide it's no longer allowed to run your life. And once that decision is made, everything changes. The line. There are only two versions of you from this point forward. The one who keeps negotiating, the one who doesn't. Nothing external has to change overnight. No dramatic announcement. No public transformation. Just an internal decision. Because here's the reality most people avoid. If you don't command yourself, comfort will. If you don't discipline your time, distraction will. If you don't raise your standards, life will lower them for you. You've felt it already. That quiet frustration, that subtle irritation when you waste a day, that tension when you see someone operating at a level you know you could reach. That isn't jealousy. It's recognition. Recognition of unused capacity. An unused capacity turns into regret faster than you think. Life doesn't collapse suddenly. It erodes. You don't wake up destroyed. You wake up settled. Settled into routines that don't challenge you. Settled into habits you never consciously chose. Settled into a life smaller than your original ambition. That's the real danger. Not failure. Settlement. And settlement feels comfortable until it feels permanent. You still have leverage right now. You still have time. You still have strength. But leverage expires when it's ignored. The men who wait too long don't lose because they lack talent. They lose because they delayed enforcement. They thought they'd become disciplined when life required it. Life required it from the beginning. You just weren't listening. So here it is. Clear, cold, final. Stop negotiating. Stop asking how you feel. Stop waiting for the perfect mindset. You already know what needs to be done. You've known for months, maybe years. The only missing piece is enforcement. Draw the line. Not publicly, privately. A standard you refuse to drop below. When it's boring, execute. When it's inconvenient, execute. When no one sees it, execute. That's how identity shifts. Not through emotion, through repetition under resistance. 5 years from now, you will either look back and respect this version of yourself, or you'll resent him. Resent that he knew. Resent that he understood. Resent that he still hesitated. That resentment is heavier than discipline will ever be. So choose your weight. The weight of effort, or the weight of regret. You don't need another speech. You don't need another plan. You need a decision. Quiet, cold, non-negotiable. Never again.